Hey guys, I'm Rick, and that is One Big Pile of Bricks, filmed on location at Brickvention 2023 with our amazing guest, Season 4 contestant, Kirsti! Woo! Hello, Kirsti, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule saying hello to all those kids. I was waiting patiently, and I was like, should I say something? And I was like, no, I'll wait. And they're like, no, you need to grab her now. How have you found the fame after Lego Masters?
Oh, it's not really fame.
It's fame, come on.
I mean, it's a bit strange. And what I found was really odd is that the people who come up and say that they're most related to me aren't people I would necessarily have thought. So I get a lot of white middle-aged dudes, like starting from like 35 to like 45, and they come up and they go, you're the one I related to. And I was like, really?
That's 90% of the adult life.
I know, and I'm going, really? And I think I've been trying to process it because it's been bizarrely frequent, and I've been going, why is that? And I think it's because, like, I show, like, and I'm allowed to show the way they feel about Lego, the kind of excitement and the passion, like, because I'm not very good at, like, being subtle. Like, if I feel it, you see it.
Yeah, but you're allowed to be expressive.
But that's it. So I think that the men who get really excited about certain parts or certain techniques or a certain set, they go, she gets it. That's exactly how I feel when I get it. And that's why they come up and relate. Not necessarily the style that I build or anything. It's just the feeling around it. And then, yeah, it's also cute to see, like, young preteens and just crossing over boys who are too cool to do it but are also excited. And so what they do is, as you're walking past, they'll just point and go, Lego!
She's from Lego Masters. It's funny because with Fleur, obviously it was high traffic area when we were recording with her. And you get all these little kids that are like, it's so cute because they're so excited because they saw you on TV. And, you know, like, obviously Lego Masters is the ultimate advertising without being advertising, right?
This is true. Yeah, it is. I mean, because you get to see the possibilities, it gets people excited about it, and then you want to get some and try it yourself. But I think with the fan engagement, what's interesting is little children, they think they know you. I mean, older people kind of get the feeling they know you from having seen you anyway, but little children, they see you on the screens and you feel a bit like an auntie or something. So I've had, like, little children, they just run up and leap up into my arms to get a hug because it's like Auntie Kirsti.
Yeah.
You have to hug them back, obviously.
How did you know Dan before you went on the show?
No, we never met.
Wow.
We had,
and
like,
how did you guys go?
Blind Lego date. So it was, to begin with, it was a bit wary, and I know that I'm like a little bit.
Dan's a bit reserved, right?
I'm primary colours,
Yeah.
and other people have the other tones of the spectrum, and I'm just like, you know, red, blue, green. That's it. So I know that I'm a lot. So I was like I warned him and said, but I don't take offense if you say I just need time away or just chill out. And we realized when we had a play with the practice kit, we realized that, like, although we think very differently and our approaches are very different in styles and what we're after, there's a lot of overlap. Like, so we were playing around and I was doing something that at first Dan was going, what the hell? Why is she doing this? And then he stopped and he went, oh, hang on. No, I think I can do something. And then we started to see that our stuff could support each other and complement each other. And the first build was really about learning how to be a team, like how to talk to each other. And after that, we came up with a couple of ideas.
It's hi Caitlin. She's busy. Like, so with you coming together, was it weird building with someone that you didn't know?
It was weird building with anybody else. I've never built with anybody else.
Wow.
And I'd never met another AFOL.
Seriously?
So I had lots and lots of friends, but they were all by the internet.
That's right. You didn't watch the previous season.
No, I never watched the previous season.
Wow. So it was like, that must be such an amazing feeling going into it and not knowing what to expect.
It was a bit of a culture shock.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of assumed knowledge. Like the very first challenge, like the last hour, suddenly it was like red lights and like, whoa, all this chaos. And I'm going, oh my God, is it going to be like this for the whole hour? Am I supposed to build for an hour like this? And because of, like, my color vision in the red light, most of the bricks disappeared. Like there were very few things that I
So
could
that
see.
changes
So I was
your-
like, oh my
wow.
God. I was like, I am literally going to have to work blind in the last hour. I was totally freaked out because no one told me it was happening.
So did they
because
know?
They assume you'd know.
They know you were colorblind before going on the show?
I don't know.
Oh, for those, I don't know if we just like, Kirsti is colorblind, like, which is an amazing feat in itself to go on a show that's basically primarily colors all over the place, to not know what colors you're picking up. So how did you manage building, like, how do you manage that?
What you have to do is you have to have a good memory. So once something has been sorted and you can trust that it's sorted, you have to put things in a position and group them. So
okay, that makes sense.
There's like one build where I was genius. I'm so glad I had that on for that build, where I had a pinafore that had pockets, so I could go right, left, so I knew which one was the darker tone, so I could go right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, so I was able to smash them out, not have to check. But there are ways to check. So I get a reference thing. So the teal separator, if I hold other things against it, I can see if it's darker or lighter. Like I don't necessarily know like if it's blue or grey or whatever, but I go darker, lighter, and I'm fine. So
Wow. So how do you, like, that, I'm just blown away because how do you find, like, Lego as a whole, like, to build, considering that you can't see, like...
Well, I think that maybe...
It's just R2-D2 just chilling past us right here.
It's probably got a message for me because I often wear the Princess Leia buns,
right.
the space buns.
That's cool, Tegan. Sorry, I got distracted. So how did you find, like, how do you, like, say you're getting a big set,
Yeah.
how do you know, like, this, do you have someone that can sort it for you?
What I do is I ask, and I just hope that they're not lying to
Yeah.
me. So yeah, I ask. But also when I sort, and thankfully my husband likes to sort. He finds
Yeah.
it soothing, so he breaks it down.
That's really
so-
sweet that you have a very supportive partner
Yeah.
that can help with that stuff.
Yeah. Well, he enjoys that, but he's kind of gets irritated because he wants to know when he can smash up the stuff that I've made,
Yeah.
and I'm happy for that. But some of them I'm going, I haven't finished that yet, or I want to like take some videos or whatever. But he sees the built model and he wants to start breaking it down and sorting it up.
Yeah.
But for me, like, it's nice because we each get frustrated because he builds all these sets and I want to smash them up because I want to harvest it for parts.
Yeah, you want to, because you know, you're a builder, so you just want to keep building stuff.
Well, yeah,
right?
and I'm so parts driven. I'm a massive parts slut. So I see something that's got something cool.
Yeah.
I just want to rip it apart and use like some of the really cool parts to make new things and make different connections. So it's really hard for me. He's got like the hidden things, like the Stranger Things, like hidden whatever that one is.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. The upside down.
I want to break that one apart so badly. And I might encourage the cat to jump up on top of that pitch. So if it
falls
knocks
over?
down, that it's not my fault.
Then it's
And I
not
go,
your fault?
Well, now that it's broken.
Well, that's right. So, have you found a lot of people approach you and talk about being colorblind as well?
Do you know, it's bizarre. Like, I didn't realize like that how isolated people felt around it
Yeah.
because people have come, or they'll tell me, they'll go, my husband's colorblind, and they said
Wow.
it was really cool for them to see what you do, and then they tell me what tricks and tips that their partner
Yeah.
uses. So that's really cool.
It's
Yeah.
not. I don't like to use the term disability, but it's like an invisible disability because people don't know.
Well, yeah, no, they don't know, and it's not like you. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to say, "Oh, hi, I'm Kirsti. I'm colorblind." So
I'm
here-
colorblind. What color are you wearing today? So, have you found the recent success of Lego Masters? Have you found that you're being approached by a lot more people because it was aired everywhere?
What's interesting is the amount of people who think they know you.
Yeah, it'd be kind of
and so-
creepy, right? Like,
So they recognize you, and yeah, I'm a pretty cheerful person, and I do smile as you walk past, and so they see that, go, she's familiar, she's smiling at me. They go, oh, I know her, must know her, and you can see them being polite, and in the back of their head going, is she a soccer mom? Like, are we on the same group or whatever? How do I know her? And then suddenly it will click, or they'll say, I'm sorry, where do I know you from? And then I go, oh, I don't want to be a wanker, but maybe TV. And they go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought you were I thought I knew you. And then they'll talk to me and they'll remember who I am, and they'll start to tell me whatever part of the show that they connected with. So
that's really nice. So, did you have a relatively good time on the show?
Oh, I had an awesome time. It was a blast. It was just amazing.
because you'll see it later because we've got magic of podcasting. We film so far in advance, right? So we had one with Branko and Max, and they touched on things on set, how things were on set. How did you find it on set? Was there a lot of tension?
Oh, so what I found on set was really interesting. I thought, reality show. I was like, oh yeah. I was actually surprised by like how real it really was. Like, yeah.
It wasn't edited the way you thought it would be edited, right?
No, like things like manufactured or whatever. It was pretty much what you see is what you get. That was what it was. And tension, in terms of tension, when things are going wrong or everybody had a build that they fought with, like they struggled it, they wrestled it to the ground. Maybe they defeated it, or maybe it defeated them.
How did you feel being on set? Was there other teams you didn't get along with, or did you get along with everybody?
I loved everybody. Like I loved all the teams, but we kind of fell in love and became a family. But in saying that, like, it's no secret that you don't connect with every single person. So maybe, yeah.
So I'm going to touch on this, and you're more than happy to say I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
How did you find the Lexi and Rachel thing?
I think I can safely speak for everybody else there. Every single one of us gave Rachel so many hugs.
It was rough. I know Branko and Max have touched on it, and they reveal a lot, and you guys will hear that. This will air afterwards. But I think it was probably really uncomfortable for her. I'm going to get Rachel on at a later date just to try and... Because, you need... After having an uncomfortable experience where the whole of Australia has watched you on TV, you need time to, like, express yourself and air it out a little bit. I know that, it's unfortunate that certain members of Lego Masters felt that they were left out, but in all honesty, they probably isolated themselves a lot.
Well, I think that a lot of the time you do get what you give out. And so if you're after inclusion and so forth, then you kind of have to meet halfway. And,
you have to be together. You can't be like...
No, you can't. Yeah. And for whatever reason, that isn't her bag. That isn't what she does. And that's okay. That's all right. And I don't want to say anything that could be construed in bad mouth.
No. Everything we're saying here is not in a bad way.
Because I understand that social media and the anonymity online, people can be quite vicious. And
it's very brutal.
I know that she may have had to read some things that were quite hard and challenging to read and hurtful. So I certainly don't want to add to that because, live,
that's
let
totally
live.
Fair.
And I want the best for her, which I hope she knows. But
I'm gonna try and get her on a later podcast, but I struggle because I don't want it to be like a negative fest. Like it's just always hard because we've done 30-something podcasts, and I always try not to make it about the negative side of things. But I think the whole of Australia saw what happened, and I felt for Rachel. Everyone did, and like I messaged her afterwards, like, "Are you okay?"
She's killer,
and
Rachel
she's great. I met her at a
kick-ass.
special event that we can talk about later. You were probably there. Were you there at this? Yeah, we were all at this special event, which you'll see later. And she came up and said thanks because I was like, because it's hard, like sometimes when you get a bunch of strangers in the room, you're going to have one or two that don't get along. Especially on a national TV show that is just pressure.
We were lucky though, because literally, we fell in love with everybody. And we'd have like little groups that would like sort of overlap, like it's a bit of a Venn diagram. So you'd have certain bits where you click in together, like Dan, Rachel and I would sometimes watch a movie together while we were building and sitting, like we watched Elf and that sort of stuff, which is fun. Or then you'd have like Mario Kart nights, or we watched Brickmas. That was actually
that's cool.
The first episode of Lego Masters that I watched was Brickmas.
Oh really?
So we sat and watched
Did you watch yourself on TV later to see how it was?
Well, I watched it when it aired, and we were all we've got a group chat, we watched it and we were messaging as it was happening, and that is surreal to watch yourself like.
It's a bit weird, right?
Well, you had to kind of prepare beforehand for what was going to happen, and you just went, look, you have absolutely no control about how they show you. You have although they get you to bring your clothes, they choose which ones you wear, and they choose which really like torturous bra to wear that does this really weird thing.
I don't have that issue yet, thankfully. So
yeah, but you just go, whatever. It's up to you. I've got no control about that. Just forget about that. Just be you, do your thing. Let it leave
so
that
were
up
you
to
happy
the
with the
gods.
way they edited you on TV?
Oh, I can't be unhappy or unhappy. That is who I am.
Yeah,
So.
because I know that sometimes with previous seasons, they can take things and twist a little bit. But I found, unfortunately, because of what happened with Kale, I think I found that they have been a bit more real and a bit more honest and not more splicing. Because I think with the Kale situation, unfortunately, they spliced a lot, and that's what sort of made it a bit weird. Like, and there was one of the seasons where one of them pulled a face, but he was wearing different clothing, and they sort of just mixed it in there. Yeah. So, reflecting on your time on Lego Masters, what was your favorite build?
My favorite build to see, my favorite build
To build,
that
you built.
There's some that I loved for different reasons. So I will always have a soft spot for the rubber chicken card.
It's so good. It is so good.
But that's because that's when Dan and I figured out how to be a team.
Oh, how you
how to
gelled and
trust
figured
each
it out
other,
and went bang.
How to do it. We'd set up some rules. Like we gave ourselves a power of veto where we didn't have to explain. We built up a veto card and we were like, as we're going through it, at any point throughout the build with no questions asked, you just had a veto. You could just go, no, and just put that down. We didn't have to use it because we had that. And we built tools so we could measure things that we needed. So we were ready. And we went, if we can't agree, rock, paper, scissors. We went, that's how we'll do it. We decided to do like elevator pitches. So each of us to do our brainstorming separately, then pitch it to each other, and then see if something sparked in the other one. And if we didn't come to an immediate consensus, so we'd have one person sort of their vision, then we'd do rock, paper, scissors, which went well. I loved doing the window to the future because of the forced perspective, because, and for no other reason, if nothing else, because using the strings to get the perspective lines to go through that was fucking...
That's okay. That can stay in. No one heard it. We're all good. Everyone here is laughing. That's the main thing. You're allowed to swear. It's okay. We always make them non-kid friendly, so you're safe. Dan, make sure you leave that in.
It was really cool.
That's all right. You're allowed to. It's fine.
Yes, this is so good. Like, this is like, wow. Because it just kept me on track, like, for how to divide it. Yeah. Especially since it was so many of the same colors or really close tones.
Yeah.
And to try and keep it and go, I need it to disappear in. And I'm going, so if I had all of the same color for that, it wouldn't work. So, but having the lines, like just the guidelines, oh man, it was like snap lines for theater flats where you rub them in chalk, you hold them and then you ping it and it draws it. But I just went Lego strings, studded them, and I had the exact same bit, but I could also move them when it need be. And I had a bright stud to mark the spots so I could take them on and off as I needed, but I wouldn't lose where it was. So I was deeply impressed with myself for that.
I'm glad you had a good time.
I'm still congratulating myself.
Well, you can, because you weren't eliminated first. Sorry, Andrew. Like, it's just one of those things, right? You got quite far in the competition. Were you impressed with how far you got?
I need to go back because the last one, when you're asking the favourite build, my actual favourite build was the lighthouse, because that was the one where...
It's pretty cool.
Where we backed ourselves on that one. I was like, yeah, that was...
You guys did pretty well considering, colourblind. It's not easy to build Lego on a TV show and getting it right in the first place. And you could see when you and Dan clicked, like you could see in every team that doesn't know each other, right? You see there's a moment in time where just suddenly out of nowhere they just go bang, and then it's like they're off.
Yes.
And you could see it with Caleb and Alex.
Oh man, you could see with Caleb and Alex, as soon as they hit that magic sweet spot, man, there was just...
We were really impressed.
Killer.
Because,
killer.
We get to see it because we do podcasts, so we're seeing it before it went live, right? Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. Because when you see when they get to in the finale, you're like, this is amazing.
As soon as they realized that they could, allow both of themselves in the same build and that be able to talk. And I think, this is my opinion, but I was watching there and I think that it took a while before sort of Caleb would be able to go, oh, hang on, because he does that. Like he takes a while to sort of like sit into a new situation. He's utterly delicious, like such a beautiful
Caleb
dude.
is such a nice guy.
he has like a bit where he kind of needs to just check it out and see what's happening. And so it took a few builds before he could actually go, oh my God, she is insanely creative.
Yeah.
And to go, oh, and that light bulb moment.
Alex is amazing. Like, they're both amazing people in their own right, but together they were just unstoppable.
They're both amazing builders, and they're a gorgeous team. Yeah.
Well, and this is the thing I tell people, because they ask me, you know, because I've met everybody. I say to them, I think if Joss and Henry weren't in the competition, they potentially would have won, because they were so, in the end, they were just on sync. They knew what they were doing. They had a plan and they just went for it. And, you know, like, it's always hard at the start trying to find your feet, but once you find your feet, especially on Lego Masters, how did you find the Brickman on set?
Oh, he's lovely. You know, so we'd come up, he's very supportive. Obviously, he's got like the guidelines of what he needs to do. So he's coming up, and
I guess he has to be careful that there's no favoritism, right?
Oh yeah, well, he's obviously there's the Brickman, and then there's him as a person, and they're separate entities because like obviously he has to stay neutral, and there's. Excuse me for a moment.
No, go for it. It's quite warm in the exhibition building today. It's not as bad as previous years. It's been like 48 degrees in here, so I'm thankful that it's not as hot. I'm still warm, but, you know, we're lucky that we can still have events after everything that's gone on in the last couple of years. How have you found the reception here today?
Oh, well, I've been mostly talking to kids because my display...
I know, I was trying to pull you away. I'm like, and you're like, and I was like, yeah, that's fine.
It's because, like, I would say maybe 4/5 of the builds that I brought are interactive. And so it's been wonderful. Like, I've just been seeing kids playing with the wiggle snakes or the animation that I made, so those bits, and so it's just been amazing to see their eyes light up and they ask how they make it. And some of them, like, I actually pulled apart the snake so they could pull it apart and see how to make it and stick it back together. So I've had a great time. I mean, I don't know what it's been like for them, but I've had a fantastic time.
You know, it's about for the kids, right? Like,
well, that's
what it's about.
That's why I did it. So I brought some of the builds that are what I'm known for on Instagram, which is very, very quiet, tiny builds. Like my builds, they're not those big, huge movie posters like the giant. It's nothing like that amazing Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
Mine are like haiku, where you go, you've got a syllable count and you've put it down and it's itsy bitsy tiny. Like my favorite build style is a one-piece build. That's mine.
Cool.
Yeah,
but sometimes like big builds are impressive, right?
They
I'm always
are,
but I always like the builds that are like a base plate. Because you fit so much, and it's a challenge, right, where anyone can go big.
You can restrict
and
yourself.
build the biggest thing in the room, like, because it's always, you know, sometimes these events are about look how big I can build. Like, this amazing truck, this crane going to nearly the roof. So overall, you had a pretty positive Lego Masters experience.
I loved it. It was absolutely wonderful, and if we'd never done the TV part, just being able to meet these guys, because they're family now. I mean, we came down here and we've hired an Airbnb so that as
you're
many
all
of us
together.
We're in the same house. Like, you know, on Thursday after Bump In, we had taco night. So we
that's
we
awesome.
cooked in there, all sitting sharing. So it's
amazing.
nice
that you guys can still get along and look back at it as a positive experience.
We were playing Mario Kart until 1 o'clock in the morning the other night.
So who won Mario Kart?
Oh, it's Joss and Alex are killer at it. Like, I'd never played it before, so I'm sitting there going, I don't even know what to do. So I started, came in 12th, worked my way up, and at one point I was coming in second, but no, drop back down.
I used to be good, not as much anymore. We play with, like, at work, after work, we'll play sometimes. I'm always losing, so it's just always the way. I just, you know, I can pretend I'm good, that's fine. But we appreciate you taking the time, dragging you away from those poor kids who are probably waiting, lining up there.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming out to Brickvention and coming down, being a Lego master. You deserve to be there. You know, it's
nice
like,
to hear. Thank
it's
you.
not easy being a Lego master and getting on TV and building in front of, you know, audience of millions of people. Like,
and under that pressure, like having a time and having other people's feedback, like having to be considered. Like that's really hard. I mean, obviously taking constructive criticism is really important for anybody doing anything creative.
It's always hard too, because it's always going to sting a little bit.
Sometimes it can, but sometimes what's interesting, and you asked before, how was it having Brickman on set? And I think this is what's interesting, is sometimes the feedback, you wanted to give validation to it, you wanted to take it on board, but you're also going, the nature of the feedback kind of showed that there's a mismatch.
Yeah.
Like, so that the vision that you've got the idea of how to get it or what the end product is different. And so you had to sort of tailor it, because bearing in mind the person who's giving you feedback is also the judge.
Yeah.
And so you're going, this is quite, it's a significant viewpoint. This is a perspective you really should take under account. But sometimes you go, no, it's another robot.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
I just heard a noise.
I met that one the other day. This one, its little hand comes out and it
really?
shakes
That's
hands.
cool.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you again for being on the podcast, taking time out of your day. I'll put all Kirsti's links. I got it right this time. Kirsti's links and social media and all that stuff down below. Thank you so much for joining us at Brickvention.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Bye.